Hello and welcome. This is Mouse Gunner, and we're back with some more Hard West. We picked up one of the posse members we were looking to get, and we have one more to go. And to do so, we have to collect these meteor pieces. But before we do that, let's go ahead and see what our new party member or posse member is all about. So he has a sawed-off shotgun and a volcano pistol. Now, the volcano pistol has a lot of shots, but it also does decent damage, but it doesn't have the fanning ability, which I'm really looking for. And the sawed-off Cougar also does nice damage, but it has a aim penalty, and it is more or less a shotgun that, it only has 2 shots. So, not particularly good. Bottle of liquor, could do without. Dose of opium, also, And we also have a stimulant here. Don't really care about that, but we have a bloodstained shirt. Alright, fine. You can wear that. He has syphilis, though. Maybe we need to take him to that shaman there, if it will even work. Let's look at our card screen, though. So we gain the Black Joker. This gives you pretty much an all stats bonus, and it counts as any card, I think, for making a hand. And then we have the one that is the cannibal one, 9 of clubs. We can also get more cards into our hands now. So if we take the Black Joker and put it into our hand, as I like buffing up my main character, especially in this instance, I now gain 3 of a kind, which gives us 30 max luck. And if I were to give myself another jack, which I don't have, that would actually give me 4 of a kind, which would be lovely. So 9 of clubs. Well, he only has 7 health, and everybody else has 8 or better. So I'll give Cannibal to Randy Harden. Although technically, if I gave it to, well, I could always take this away. Which one is it? This one? It also gives an extra hit point. I'll have to think about building hands here, but we also have the Queen of Diamonds, which gives +2 movement, but it also has a passive. When not in direct sunlight, you become invisible. Ooh, I like that one. I might even get rid of the luck card here, because I'm already getting a big luck bonus from having 3 of a kind, and instead putting that in there, because this is going to give me 2 abilities that are passive that work with being not in direct sunlight. So I like that. Okay, let's go ahead and give the ace to whoever has the worst luck. They both kind of are so-so. And I'm not going to be able to get him 3 cards regardless of what I do. So we'll give it to Randy Harden. And that will be our hands for now. Alright, so weapons-wise, I'm not too happy with our situation. We can't go back to the shaman, so not being able to cure him of syphilis just at the moment. Whether or not you could even cure syphilis in this game, I do not know. And we don't have a lot of money, so Fate Trader might not prove what we want to do. And the Magician is now not a thing that we can go to. Okay, so let's go to the Fate Trader. Let's see what's there. I mean, I might want to sell some weapons I don't want. You come across a puny dwarf with a battered cart. He flashed his toothless smile at you, encouraging you to take a look at his unique wares. Alright, so let's browse a shop. So we've got the Bonehand Rifle. That was very nice from what I saw of when we got to use it. Shotgun Revolver. So this is an 18-shot shotgun. And it's only 60. Wow, that's pretty good for what it does. It's definitely better than the shotgun we already have. Snake leather boots are nice, although it does remove 1 of your hit points. Gives you a nice move bonus as well as a damage bonus. And the Candle of the Dead is just nice all around. So, let's see what we can do about this. So, Randy Harden, you don't have the best weapons. We can't really replace it. I mean, I like to have a revolver of some kind. But the bone hand rifle would be better than the sawed-off Cobra, as far as I'm concerned. It does the same damage, but you lose the cone shot. I'll give you that. But it has a plus 15 aim bonus, and it costs less money. So, hey, why not? It's also more heat, which is technically a good thing in some situations. So let's go ahead and grab ourselves one of those. Now, the shotgun revolver, can we afford that? Well, there's no reason to keep the double shotgun, as it does actually the same amount of damage, but we lose out on the ammo capacity with the double shotgun. So that's going to give us 40. This costs 60. So if we do that, we might only have to chip in 5. So we're upgrading our weapons here. Is there anything else that we would want? This gives us a plus 10 aim bonus. That's very nice, but it only does 4 damage. I really like the elephant rifle, so I think I want to keep that. And I don't think we're going to really be able to get anything better than the volcano pistol for now. So should we get the Candle of the Dead? Very fantastic item. Plus 15 aim is really, really nice. Snake leather boots are good too, but you lose the health for the damage up. But this is so good. I don't think I can pass it up, honestly. And we have the money to buy it, so I see no reason why not. So we're going to need almost all of our money. But the stimulant, I don't really care about the stimulant. It is, yeah, well, we don't care about that. So we'll get some money back here. And as a result, what we'll do is we'll take this out. I meant to sell both stimulants, so let's get some of our money back. And I think Randy Harden had some items that I didn't really care for either. Like, for instance, the dose of opium and the bottle of liquor. I don't care about consumables in combat. To me, they don't really seem to be worth it. If it's actually something that heals me, great. Otherwise, I don't give a crap. So let's get rid of that, and let's get rid of that. Get some more of our cash back. Alright. I like this trade. I mean, the Fate Trader is always a nice place to stop. So let's trade. And divvy up our items. So he's going to get the bone hand rifle. I'm going to pick up the shotgun revolver. And that's going to be that. Oh, the Candle of the Dead. Who are we going to give that? Well, you know, we want him to have... Oh, he already has an aim bonus, though, for having the bone hand revolver. So I'm not too... Bone hand revolver. Bone hand rifle. So I'm thinking giving the aim bonus to myself. There we go. Nice 80 aim. Fantastic. All right. Now let's go on to... We have already been to the Vaquero. So let's move on. We're going to go to the Cougar Trails here and then the church and so on. This wildland was Indian property. If the rumors were true, a powerful native mystic lived here who could take the form of a cougar. It was said he possessed another piece of the meteor. Okay, so we're getting along that. So, let's ask Javeo to help you track the cougar. Javeo quickly found the trail. A couple hours later, you found the cougar. It looked ordinary, except for an unusual pattern on its face and a necklace with a piece of rock tied to it. That's a bear. Not a cougar. Oh well. You let Javeo do the talking. The native warriors slowly approached the cougar, chanting a song in their language. It was a tense scene. You expected Javeo to be ripped apart any second. Slowly but surely, however, Javeo approached and held his hand out to the cougar, who relinquished the stone without objection. And that's still a bear, not a cougar. The piece of the meteor in your hand heated up, melted, and sank into your skin. You felt empowered, but if you wanted to collect these pieces to drive persons out of hiding, you had to avoid burning them up. Really? Really? Oh, come on. We did get a site cured thing, I believe, though. As a result of that. But that means that we have to still find 4 more. So we'll go to the church. A local chapel used a piece of meteor as the main jewel adorning its communion chalice. Vicar Simmons Sams, who the locals respectfully called the bishop, refused to surrender the stone. Alright, so our only option was to shoot him and face whatever consequences there were for killing a man of God on consecrated soil. Alright. I get rattling cough. The vicar never stood a chance. He claimed the piece of the meteor, but as you touched it, you began coughing badly. You collected another piece of the meteor. Burning it up would give you extra power, but keeping them would help you recruit another companion. I'm going to keep it. Alright, so we've got the rattling cough here. We may be able to cure if we were able to find a healer of some sort. We do have these 2 things as well that we haven't yet checked out. So we're going to go to the Rojas Tannery. The stench of tanning liquids was smothering, but the tanner was rumored to possess a piece of the meteor, so you pressed on. When you told him what you were looking for, he shrugged. He had once used the piece in the tanning vat to speed up the reaction. Now, though, he'd found a reliable source of the tanning catalyst and didn't need the meteor anymore. Unfortunately for you, however, it lay at the bottom of a vat full of toxic material. If you were desperate enough, you could simply reach for it. Alright, we're not going to do that just yet. So they're giving me a lot of, sell your soul to get these things at the moment. Alright, so Legal Mines is the only thing over here, so we'll go there. We came across a prospecting site where a group of slaves toiled in narrow coffin-sized holes in the ground. Hauling silver from beneath the earth, it was doubtful these mines were sanctioned by the authorities. Rumor had it, Mr. Beck, one of the proprietors, had a collection of precious stones. A piece of the meteor was his most prized piece. Alright, we'll offer him 50 for it. Well, I don't have 50, so never mind, we'll threaten him. Your threats fell on deaf ears. You had to kill them. They put up a fight and wounded one of your companions, but in the end, you retrieved the stone. You collected another piece of the meteor. Burning it up would... Yeah, we're going to keep it. It said somebody got injured, but I didn't see who. Doesn't look like that actually happened. Alright, so we have 2 pieces of the meteor. We need 2 more. Alright. We'll go to the tannery last if we really have to. So we have Quack Wagon. We're going to go to that. A lonely, dilapidated wagon was parked beside a popular resting ground. Dr. Mason von Werner's wagon smelled very strongly of liquor. No, it must have been antiseptic. The doctor looked at you absent-mindedly through his greasy glasses. He may have been drunk and high on opium, but he was the only medic in the area. Alright, so this is where I think we can heal some of our afflictions. We don't have a lot of money, though. Harden's embarrassing problem. Alright, so we're going to ask about healing first. The doctor assured you he was an expert on human anatomy. He performed the most amputations during the Battle of Sabine Pass. If you counted fatalities, his expertise wasn't cheap, but he was confident he could help you, especially if it involved amputations. Alright, so unfortunately here, we don't have quite enough money. So we're going to just ask about Randy Harden's little embarrassing problem. You Quack admitted he had a single dose of mercury stashed for emergencies. It would temporarily relieve hardened ailment, but the effects would vanish after a while. He named his price and asked whether you wanted him to administer it now. Alright, so we're like desperately needing cash. So we're gonna leave. Do we have items we're not using? Doesn't look like it. So buying all those magical items seems like it's gonna bite us in the end. But we'll go to the next spot. This inconspicuous ranch, away from the main road, houses a black market which dealt in contraband of all kinds. Alright, so we'll ask about the meteor piece. When you made your unusual demand, Waha Ackerman, the merchant, looked agitated. He considered the rock a lucky charm and was unwilling to give it up. If he did, he would charge you more for the rest of his goods to make up for his loss. Well, I'm not going to buy anything from you, so who cares? Oh, okay. So let's do the hardened one. Merchant agreed, handing you the meteor and wishing you luck. You collect another piece of the meteor, blah blah blah. We're gonna keep it. So we need one more, and we've got a couple locations to go. I would like to heal myself, but I don't see a way to get any income, so that's not going to be something that really happens unless we get income. Alright, we arrived at a barrier place. It was reputed to belong to one of the four evangelists, a gang of four brothers named Mark, Matt, Luke, and John. A disfigured vagrant sat on the tomb. He represented himself as Necator, a seer. He told you that each of the brothers' tombs contained an inscription that told part of their story. If somebody read the story in correct order, it would reveal the location of the gang's stash. Alright, read the inscription. Mark was the eldest, and the others had always followed his orders. But John harbored a secret bitterness. When they finally tracked down the mass doctors responsible for the atrocities, he disobeyed his eldest's command to provide cover. Without his brother's protection, Matthew was riddled by bullets. They buried him here. Alright, so we've got some tombs to look at. Oh, before we do that, we're going to go ahead and go to the... Well, if the necropolis has the meteor, then we don't really want to go there. We know the tannery has one piece, which would be enough to get this over with. But instead, I'm going to go to John's tomb, and then to Mark's tomb, and then to Luke's tomb. While we have, what is it, Matthew? Matthew's thing fresh in our mind. Okay, we know this story. Let's read the inscription. The brothers fell into disarray. Mark blamed John, John blamed Mark, and Luke, who had always brokered their peace, was powerless to reconcile them. Tempers escalated until John drew on Mark, and another brother fell, this time by the hand of his own kin. It was the end of the evangelist. So I'm going to assume that this happens after Matthew's story. Because Matthew's dead, he's not mentioned. So, but we don't know about the atrocities, so maybe there's a beginning to this story. Let's go to Mark's tomb. Alright, so we'll read the inscription. The hearse was not carrying the worldly remains of the departed to distant soil. Instead, it contained living human parts, kept alive in jars by electricity and eldritch balms. Mark was resolute, however, did this must pay. John and Matt disagreed. For the first time, the brothers were divided. Okay, I don't know what part of the story that is, but it looks like everyone is alive at this point. I mean, Luke's not mentioned. This could be the beginning of our story, but it's kind of vague. So that's going to be the one thing. It looked like before, John's tomb was clearly after Matthew's tomb, but we'll have to read Luke's tomb, see what that has to say, and we'll maybe piece it together. Okay, let's read the inscription. John drifted alone, rootless and without purpose. Finally, tired of being outgunned and outnumbered, he decided he could not continue. He was on He was on preparing to take his own miserable life when Luke returned. Bent on reconciliation, he had found some leads on the masked doctors, and the time to strike was now. Okay, now I'm really confused. This is possibly the beginning of the story. Because John is still alive. Luke comes and talks to him and says something about the masked doctors. Well, in Matthew's story, all of them are alive. And they are after the masked doctors, and the masked doctors kill Matthew. And then John and, who is it? I don't remember the brothers here. John and Mark shot at each other. One of them died. It wasn't clear which one. And then Luke's story was the, after that. We'll try and figure this out. So, whole story. Beginning of the story was, are you kidding? And there's no backing out. Whose story did I just read? It was Luke's story. So, Mark's story or Luke's story is the beginning. After Luke's story is Matt's story, and John's story is possibly either the last bit of the story. So I'm going to go with Mark's story is first. Then it's going to be Luke's story, then Matt's story, then John's story. That's what I think. So let's go with Mark's story. Then it was Luke. No. Yeah, Luke's story. Then Matt's, then John's. Then Matt's. Then John's. Some of the decrypted words made sense, but not enough to decode the location of the stash. Alright. So, let's just look at this. Alright, so it was Mark's story that was the one that was the confusing one. We weren't exactly sure at what point of the story it was. It's clear John's story is the last. If it's not the last, then this is the last. Matt's story is clearly after Luke's story. So maybe Mark's story is first. No, wait, we already said Mark's story is first. Maybe Luke's story is first, and then Mark's story is second. So we'll try that. Alright, so let's try this again. So it's going to be Luke's story first. Then Mark's, then Matt's, then John's. So Luke's story. Then Mark's story. Then Matt's story. Then John's story. Try again. Like, honestly, Mark's story doesn't make any sense. Like, the other stories, they line up perfectly. Because you have Luke's story, they're looking for something. It doesn't make any sense. Unless this one's first, then that one. I don't know. Let's just work on this, honestly. So we've got Mark's story. Then we have Matt's story. Then we have John's story. Then Luke's story. Alright, we figured it out. So Mark's story was first. Then it was Matt's story. Then John's story. John killed Mark. I kind of thought that Luke might have been the last part, and it kind of helped me with those little phrases at the end, recovery and so on, kind of helped me piece that together. It was kind of confusing, though, because Mark's story wasn't very easy to figure out, because it didn't really refer to anyone very much. Alright. Let's go get the stash. So I apologize, that was a lot of messing around, but that was not particularly easy to figure out. Okay. So we have a bland unmarked grave. Match the directions decrypted from the evangelist tomb's inscriptions. Your long digging effort was rewarded with finding of substantial material value. So we didn't get any money, though. Oh, we got bulletproof vest. That's a nice item. Medical bag. I don't know if this is actually a healing item or not. Kind of hard to say. And we've got a stun bomb. I'll give that to myself, too. One-armed bandit. So it's a one-shot, 8 damage handgun. Well, you know what? I'd rather have that than this volcano pistol. Although, maybe it's even better than the one... I actually might not use the one-armed bandit. Take the bulletproof vest. Bloodstained shirt is kind of a wasted item. Well, in any case, we could sell some of these items. So let's see what cards we got, though. Lots of cards. Okay. So we've got the King of Clubs. Nearby enemies panic. Who has the other king? Oh, nobody. Okay. King of Diamonds. Since nearby enemies. Okay, so we were thinking about giving the 9 down here. Gives him a pair. And then we'll give the 2 kings. Uchaveo, that gives him a pair as well. Then we have 2 more cards. We have a 10, which is Ricochet, and we have a Jack. Okay. I don't think we're going to be able to get better hands than what we already have. So I think I'm going to give the aim bonus to Harden here. Makes him a 60. Kind of brings him up to the rest of the crowd. Didn't I have an 80-something aim at one point? Did I lose? Oh, that's because of that affliction. Yeah. Alright, well, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to one of these traders and sell some of my items. So the closest one is this Orchid House. And we shouldn't have increased prices because of things and stuff. So we're going to sell here. And the idea being we're going to get enough cash to be able to heal everyone that has issues. A 12 shooter. Okay. This game and its weapons are kind of a little bit silly. What does the volcano pistol sell for? I mean, because I'd like that 12 shooter because it's better than the volcano pistol, but I don't know if we'd be able to afford it. We'll find out. So let's just sell the things we don't want. So we don't want a bloodstained shirt, and we don't want the one-armed bandit. It's going to give us 85. All we need is 100. And we can't afford the 12 shooter then, can we? Well, if you sell this, it's a difference of 15. I think that will do it. So we sell this. We get the 12 shooter. That gives us 70. That gives us just 100. Over 100. So we need to get cash from him. So we get firm and trade. All right. So we've upgraded our weapons. Let's I'm going to give Randy Harden Yeah, we'll give him the 12 shooter. I mean, he doesn't have the best aim, but that's okay. Now let's go heal our afflictions, and we'll be ready to go and get our last piece, possibly. I'm going to look at the necropolis just to see if there's a piece there, because I don't want to have to reach in my hand into the tannery thing if I don't have to. Alright. Although I could do that and then heal myself, although the mission might happen right away, so I don't know about that. So, we'll come for the healing. We'll get some patching up. And then leave the medic's wagon. Oh, that's not what we wanted to do. We'll get the other thing as well. The doctor told Hardin to undress. Having no desire to watch what came next, he left the wagon. Half an hour later, Hardin emerged from the wagon looking confused but stronger. Alright. So let's look at that. So he now has... Alright, so just counteracting the effects. It's kind of hard to say how long that will last. Okay, let's go to the necropolis, see if there's anything there. There might be a couple other locations we haven't yet checked out. We arrived in an area dominated by sinkholes and mud pits. It served as a graveyard of sorts. Allowing coffins to simply sink into the bog was highly economical. Your reflections were interrupted by the sight of a tall figure pacing back and forth across the necropolis. In the morning mist of the surreal landscape, he looked like an apparition. Dressed in all black and carrying a shovel, he looked as though he must be an undertaker. The rumors about like hunting for you were true. This man could be dangerous. Alright, we'll find out his identity. The man's polite greeting turned to excitement as he realized who you were. His name was Shane Carter Holmes, and he recognized you from your hunt for the masked man. Between coffins and funeral services, your one-man slaughtering routine, as he called it, had made him a pretty penny. He'd been looking for you for weeks to express his thanks. He handed you a stack of useful items, including some cash and a piece of meteor. Alright, exactly what we wanted. And we get a okay, we got a bunch of stuff. Okay. We're going to keep it. You had all of the meteor pieces you wanted. When you returned to the main road, a messenger handed you a letter from the wizard. The man wasn't happy with your stun at the brothel, but he provided the location of persons as per your agreement. It was a trap, but it wasn't the first you were willingly walking into. And it's the wizard that wants that crap, not persons.